Now, this is an interesting video because I've been thinking about moving to Dubai. I've been thinking about just not visiting Dubai, but like actually going there full time, you know. And this is one of those videos that I bumped online, and I want you guys to hear this lady out. Her name is N Ioni. If I'm butchering it, I'm gonna put her name in the description down below and the link to the food video to her channel so that you can go and watch it. So I sped it up a little bit. So that yeah, we can just get as much information in lesser time, right? And react to it. So I'm gonna be reacting to some of it. By the way, keep this in mind. I've been thinking about like going to Dubai, to move to Dubai. So if you are like me, this video is probably for you. If you also have lived in Dubai, if you live in Dubai, let me know in the comment section what you think about some of the things that she's saying as you're going to be reacting to it. So yeah, without wasting much of your time, let's get into it.
Go to Dubai, spend 3 months, find an apartment, leave, try to explore the country and different cities. See if the country is a good fit for you, because trust me, what you see on social media is not what it is in the UAE. The second point is make sure you have 6 months of emergency funds saved somewhere. Trust me, this is very important. If you do not take anything from this video, make sure you listen to this part, especially if you are a Nigerian or you're from Ghana or you're from any other African country. This is important. Dubai is a fast city. You might wake up one morning and it's 6 months already, you don't have a job, you don't have where to live, and you're just in that country depressed, frustrated, and you don't know what to do. These 6 months of emergency fund should cover accommodation and feeding. This would give you a breathing space to be able to find a job if you don't have a job before moving to the country.
Now, full disclosure, I've known that living in Dubai is expensive. It's pretty much expensive. I would argue and say one of the most expensive places to stay, right? Because of the luxurious lifestyles and everything. But also, Arabs are loaded. You know what I mean? Arabs are loaded. So um, if you're trying to move there, if you're thinking about moving to Dubai, bear that in mind.
Which I personally do not advise. Make sure you find something to do before you go to Dubai. Find a job or something you already do before you move to Dubai. It is very important. Now let's talk about the cost of living in Dubai. Dubai is really expensive to live in. Do not let anybody come on social media and tell you that with $1,000 you can live comfortably in Dubai, you can drive a Ferrari, you can drive a Porsche, you can live your best life, you can do all the flamboyant things you see on social media. Do not allow anybody deceive you. I recently moved from Dubai to Germany about 2 months ago, and this I can tell you for a fact, Dubai is expensive, especially when it comes to housing. The apartment I lived in the UAE, up until 2 months ago, I packed my bags and made my way to Germany. I was paying about 7,000 AED. This 7,000 AED was inclusive of all bills. That's about $2,000. In Naira, that should be somewhere around 3.5 to 3.6 million Naira every month was what I paid as rent. And this cost is just my house rent. This is not inclusive of feeding, car bills, and every other cost. This apartment was just a 2-bedroom apartment. At the end of the month, I saw myself spending around 10,000 to about 12,000 dirhams in total for feeding, house rent, car bills, a little bit of shopping here and there. And this cost came down to about 10 to 12,000 AED. If you just want a studio, the cost can go from somewhere around 2,500 up until 7,000, 10,000 AED, depending on the location of the studio. But just know that if you need to live in a decent apartment, it doesn't come cheap. So if you're trying to budget for an apartment in the US.
So if you're thinking about moving with your family, you also need to bear in mind that like most likely if you move into Dubai, it's a cool place to visit. That's all I can say, right? It's a nice place to visit. But like this is for those who are thinking about moving to Dubai like full time. Like I've been thinking about it. Why? Because it's a very safe country. You know, it's a very safe country. That has its perks also, right? That has its perks. Why? Because of the fact that look, the though there might not be techs and it's very safe. For me, that was the reason why I wanted to move to Dubai. The other reasons are some of the things that she's saying in this video, but also the fact that like if you do have like something like even a traffic ticket, that will cost a lot. You know, Dubai will send you to jail for the simplest things, bro. You know what I mean? So all these are information that you need to be aware of, even as you're watching this. And also, there is a part that I want you guys to know that she's gonna say in a few. So hang in there just a bit.
Make sure your budget is around $8,000. This would be for something really simple. But if you want something downtown or a really nice villa, your budget should be somewhere around $4,000 up until $10,000 or even higher. Also, there are other cheaper means of accommodation such as bed space. So let's take for example this space about 6 people would share with bunk bed. So what you pay for is either the up bunk or down bunk, which can go somewhere around 200 to 700 AED depending on where the apartment is located. Now let's talk about tax in the UAE. It is no news that you don't get to pay tax in the UAE. What this means is that when you get paid a salary, the government does not charge you any form of percentage to be paid back to them.
Now, this is the most important part. For me, that was the hook, line, and sink, right? But it's not as simple. It's not as simple as I thought it was. Well, at least after doing my own research and watching this, it's not as simple as I thought it was. Hear this part.
You get your salary in full, unlike other countries around the world. But personally, I feel like the taxes we don't get to pay, it's being taken from us indirectly, and I'll quickly explain this. The cost of fines in the UAE is really high if you've ever lived or visited the UAE. Let's talk about traffic fines and how I feel like the government makes so much money just from fines in the UAE. At some point in Dubai, I almost decided to just park my car and no longer use it because of how much I was spending on just fines alone. Imagine if you go out and you forget to pay for your parking or anything at all. The cheapest fine you will get is about 200, 300 AED. That should be somewhere around $60 to $70 per fine.
$60 for a parking ticket. This is the cheapest, by the way. She's saying this is the least of the money you're gonna pay for that particular fine. So,
and it can go higher than that. If you have a traffic fine, maybe you beat the red light or you're driving on a certain speed limit, it can go up to about 1,000 AED up until 10,000 AED depending on how severe your fine is. I personally feel like the government makes so much money off just fines alone. I know the fines are put there to make sure that there's law and order in the country, but personally I feel like it is too expensive. Now let's talk about passports. If you're thinking of going to the UAE with the hopes that after a couple
now, before she says this, for me, this was the nail to the coffin. Why? Because while you're doing all this, you're assuming like, look, I'm gonna move to Dubai, then I'm gonna become a Dubai citizen. But then you only get to find out that, like, no, they're not thinking like that. They're not interested in you like that. Like, you know what I mean? This was the part that was like, oh, I need to reevaluate my decision of like having a dream of working towards moving full time to Dubai. It was for this, right?
Of years, you'd get a passport. If you've not heard it anywhere before, I need you to hear it here today. When you live in the UAE, you do not get a passport. The highest thing they will give you is a golden visa, a 10 years golden visa, meaning the visa would cover you and your family for 10 years, but you do not get a passport. So this is important for people who come from third world countries like Nigeria, Ghana, and other parts of the world, that you think, okay, I go to the UAE, after a couple of years, I'm get a passport, it will not work. So if your goal is to get a passport after living in the UAE for a couple of years, then I'm sorry, the UAE is not the place for you. You have to find somewhere else. Now let's talk about social media in the UAE. Lots of people don't talk about this because social media in the UAE is highly controlled. You cannot post any negative news or anything that portrays the UAE in a negative light on social media. So before you pack your bags and go to the UAE, and if you're somebody who likes to air their opinion, whether you're right or whether you're wrong, just know that there would be consequences as long as that's your opinion.
Free speech. All my free speech people. Dubai is not the place. Dubai is not the place.
Does not portray the UAE in a really good light, there would be consequences. Now let's talk about public.
By the way, UAE is almost as extreme as China when it comes to you going against the rule of law. Like it's almost as bad as China. So there's no demonstration of that. You're not going to air your opinion in UAE. Oh my God. Like, yo, let me know in the comment section because y'all be trigger happy with your Twitter fingers, man. Your X fingers. Y'all be. I can see some of y'all in my comment section saying all kinds of crazy things. Imagine if you're really that bold, move to Dubai and say that about the government. Then you will see that those Arab people are not. They're not to play with. Those Arab royalties. They're not to play with. They're not. They're not your friends. They're not your cousins.
Display of affection, popularly known as PDA. I've gotten a lot of questions from people asking me, and is it true that in the UAE, when you hold hands, you would go to jail? If you hold hands in the UAE with your significant other, you do not go to jail. If you sit in public with your significant other, gisting, chatting, you would not go to jail. That is in public. But if you are caught in public kissing or any form of sexual tension between you and your significant other, you would either be given a fine or you will go to jail.
Is it also true that you also need to prove that they're actually your significant other? I heard that that's how crazy it gets. Like you have to prove that, okay, the lady I'm with, this one is my wife. If they do catch you in that situation, if you were okay, let's not even talk about a fine. Before they even start talking about a fine, you have to prove. How true is that, right? Um, I'm talking about like because I've I don't know, bro. I've just been it's been a dream place for me to say, okay, if I want to make my roots, if there's a country that I would want to make my second home, it had to be Dubai, right? So let me know how true that is, and also bear in mind that these guys, their wives, it's only up to I think the modern kids. These guys that have like their wives covered in the hijabs. Is it those? You know, if I'm saying it wrong, please correct me. Blood hijabs, those things that they cover with their. So they take that seriously with their own. So most likely, if you're trying to do the PDA with wrong dressing, it's probably not gonna fly. It's not probably not the place for that.
So just have this at the back of your mind. Unlike other countries like here in Europe, you can see people kissing and doing all sorts of things in public. In the UAE, I'm sorry, you cannot do that. This next point is for my African brothers and sisters, whether you're from Nigeria, Ghana, Sierra Leone, Cameroon, any African country at all. In 2025, do not go to the UAE if you do not have a job or a business. If anybody does not tell you this on the internet, let me be the first person to tell you that what you see on social media about the UAE is not the reality. A lot of the people you see on social media posting luxury cars, luxury houses, living the lifestyle, a lot of them are going through a lot. It is either rented, borrowed. Do not let anybody pressure you on the internet. What you see on social media.
I also think the biggest influencers, the first wave of influencers, came from having spent money in Dubai. Spent money in Dubai. I put air quotes on that.
Is not the reality of living in Dubai. Most of them are living on either credit card debts or they're taking huge loans to do this. Most of them are even going as far as buying fake shopping bags, taking pictures of them and posting them on the internet. You know, you can rent a Porsche or a Ferrari for as low as 100 AED, take pictures with it and post it on social media, and people will think that you have money. Do not be pressured. A lot of things you see on the internet is not real. A lot of these people are lying to your faces. So don't be pressured. Make sure you do your research. Make sure you check. Do everything you need to do before you pack your bags to come to the UAE. Do not allow anybody deceive you that when you come to the UAE, it's going to be rosy. The next point is alcohol. Can you take alcohol in the UAE? Is alcohol allowed in the UAE? Yes, you can take alcohol in the UAE as long as you have an alcohol license. This license, you can get it from all the government approved places where they sell alcohol.
Oh man, this is crazy. I feel like that's the craziest thing about moving to Dubai. Like you have to, you know how they do in America that you need an ID, that you are really you're the age appropriate before they sell you alcohol. Now in Dubai, you need an alcohol ID. You know, which is crazy. It's crazy. So let me know in the comment section if Dubai is a place where you would want to go with your family and put roots. If you are thinking about it, by the way, I'll link the video. But if I don't, again, go watch her videos. And Yoni. She's the one who did the video that I'm reacting to right now. So go watch this full video, and yeah. But do let me know. Do let me know if you still want to go to Dubai. If you think any of the things that were spoken by her make it valid or invalid for you to not want to go or to go, let me know in the comment section what you guys think. And again, some of y'all keep returning, but you still haven't hit that subscribe button. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button, and see you in the next one.